night when we're sleeping. And if we had some good sleep, we had a sensation of happiness for quite a long time. But that also lasts till we are asleep. And when we wake up, we go into our routine, that is again over. The best source of happiness, long-lasting, is to find inner peace within yourself, and it's not never from the outside. It's the inner travel, inner voyage, as we call it. The first question when we go for the inner travel is, who are you? We say, first the reply, general reply would be our name, or the son of X, Y, and Z, or we in such and such profession. And we tend to limit ourselves there. At the most we'll say, okay, we are a man, a woman, a girl, a boy, a child, something like that. But do we realize there's something which is very intrinsic, very subtle in us? And that subtle thing in us is what we call Atma, or the soul, which has no gender. It's not young, it's not old, nothing like that. And how do we know that there's a soul inside the body? When someone passes away, there's something which has left this body. And we don't see that leaving the body. It's so minute, not even visible under microscopes. That is the soul. And if we are able to recognize the soul, this is the soul which feels the inner happiness. That inner happiness we can't feel with our senses. It's only the soul. And the soul feels this happiness through the man, which is the antakaran, the inner device that God has given us to feel that happiness. Then, what are the three main axes of development in life? If we're able to recognize that, Maharishi Dayananda has given it clearly in the sixth principle of the Arya Samaj. The physical, mental, moral, or spiritual, and the social development. It starts first with the physical development. When you have a sound body, you can have a sound mind and sound spirit. And after that, the next question would be, what is the ultimate purpose of life? The four Purusharth: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma is virtue. Virtuous at all times. And whatever you are going to earn, Arth, should be on the basis of Dharma. That is what we call ethics nowadays, either in modern management or in business. The second part of it would be calm. Whatever pleasure you are going to derive from the earth, that is from your earnings, that also should be based on virtue. And if you are going to earn and live as per Dharma, the fourth step is not that difficult to achieve. Because you've used Dharma, the first one, second, Arth, third one, Kam, and Moksha. How many have been to modern buildings, intelligent buildings which we say nowadays, in the world of today? You go to the door, there's a sensor. And the door just opens when you come in front of the door and you enter. But if a dog or an elephant goes there, it doesn't open. But if a child goes there, it will open. It's been designed to recognize the human body, and this is where moksha, when you've gone and done everything on the path of dharma, you'll get moksha, which is the eternal bliss of God, which you'll be enjoying there. This is happiness in the long run. Looking to be ethical in life. This is a common word nowadays, ethics. Whether it's been business, whether it's been behavior, whether it be in the whole world of today. But the basis of ethics is dharma. And you get the universal concepts of dharma. But ethics first and foremost, it says you have to be harmonious in your thoughts, in your speech, and in your actions. If there is no harmony within your thoughts, within your speech, and your actions, Chanakya has well written the shlok. Manasyanyat vachasyanyat karmanyanyat duratmanam. The person who thinks one speaks another thing and does a third thing. What is the title we are going to give to that person? Duratma. And manasyekam vachasyekam karmanyekam mahatmanam. The person who thinks in one direction, he speaks in that same direction and does his actions in that same direction, is called Mahatma.
Very nice.
Now, to be able to gauge yourself on that yardstick, just put yourself in silence every day before you go to sleep. 2-3 minutes. Just think of the main events that you've crossed during the day and think whether you've acted like this, and you'll be able to know where you stand and where you can correct yourself. Then, as and when you grow on the path of being a Mahatma, you'll be enjoying much and much higher levels of inner peace and happiness. And that is, you have to be fully aware of all the acts you are doing. Then the question says, what has 18March to do with happiness?
Very nice.
What and why the 18March? 18March consists of 2 words, Arya and Samaj. Arya means noble people. And that nobility is not acquired by birth. It's not acquired by, as we say, pedigree, race, or things like that. It's only through what we call gun, karma, and swabhav. Gun, the character, karma, the actions, and swabhav, temperament, or the innate characteristics, nature of that person. And you know, the most beautiful part of it, so many times we see people, very fine, refined character, very polished. But when things goes bad in life, all the events do not run as per the expectations, then you see the real characteristic of that person, which just sprouts out. And then you'll be able to gauge the depth of that person. And Arya is known for that. प्रतिकूल स्थितियों में भी वो अपने मन की शांति नहीं खोते हैं. In the most and most adverse situations, he never loses his self-control. That is an Arya. And Arya is first and foremost someone who can relate his thoughts, his speech, and physical actions in one and the same line. It's not necessarily someone who has come to the Arya Samaj Mandir and who is doing Havan every day or doing Havan every week or every month. It's questions of how you are living your life. And remember, an Arya cannot afford to have duplicity in life. A noble person. That Samaj is only the associations of noble persons. So it's up to us to walk the way to become an Arya. It's not difficult. As we say, you've seen the bird building its nest, bringing one straw at a time. And after 1 week, you have the whole nest. That's what we have to do in life. And that's the way we are going to increase our happiness index. It's not a question like we say, chutki baja karke kar diye. Like you've done like this and you've been able to grow. No, that's something which you have to nurture. You have to cultivate. This is the Arya Samaj. And look at the last line, the diamond. You know, those who've done science, diamond and carbon, they are the same material. But if I give you one diamond crystal and one piece of carbon, what will you choose?
Piece of carbon.
Obviously, the diamond.
Yeah.
But they are both carbon compounds. The difference is that the carbon is crude. The diamond has been subject to pressure, and it has become like that. And when you take the diamond out of the center of the earth, still crude. Just imagine the amount of polishing, cutting which has been needed to create that crystal, which people just wear in jewelries. This is the same type of cutting and polishing that we have to do in our character, in our actions, and in our nature, temperament. There are some universal concepts which is derived from the Vedas within the Arya Samaj. And those universal concepts, if we leave them in our life, we are going definitely to progress to a higher level of happiness, eventually to moksha, to get that eternal bliss. Krinvanto Vishwamaryam. Envision the whole world as a noble world. Remember, it's not nobility by blood, by lineage. It's nobility only, manasa vacha karmana. On the thoughts, on the speech, and the physical actions. Second one, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Seeing the whole world as a family. And when you see the whole world as a family, you know what is the beauty of it? It's a total contradiction from the concept of globalization in our modern times. Modern times globalization talks about economy and only profit and profit. But have you seen within a family that family members will extort and try to maximize the profit from other family members, like we say between a husband and a wife, or between a son and a father, mother, or daughter? No. This is the concept of globalization. When we see the whole world as one family, you'll work for the physical, mental, moral, spiritual, and social welfare of all. And just imagine this concept. Maharishi Dayanand wrote it to the Arya Samaj in 1875. We are talking of globalization probably some 30 years, at the most 40 years back. And the next one, unity starts, remember, the concept of Sangachadvam Samvadadvam Samvo Mananasi Janadam Deva Bhagam Yatha Purve Sanjanana Upasate. The concept of unity starts with the individual who is the smallest unit of society. आजकल बहुत सुनते हैं कि समाज सुधार, but that समाज सुधार starting at cleaning up the society. It starts within the self. And when my thoughts, my speech and my actions are all pure, I become the role model for my family and for my friends. And by extension, that family becomes a role model for people in that village or in the town or in the city. And that city also, when they use that role model, they become a model village, a model town, a model city for the nation. And when that nation follows that role model, becomes a role model for the whole world and the universe by the multiplier effect, which we say in economics, would be a much better world to live in, with a higher level of whatever you take it, whether it's happiness which you can feel from the senses or happiness which you can feel within yourself, the inner peace. This is where the principles of the Arisabad, of which we are celebrating the foundation today, goes into the game. The first two talks about God, and the second 3, 4, 5 talks about our personal duty. And 6 to 10, it goes on our duty as a social being. Remember the difference. We are talking about the social being, not the social animal. Unfortunately, the world today treats man as a social animal. That's why we go down and down to adopt the animalistic behaviors. But if we treat ourselves as social beings, we have to feel the beingness as a human being and be worthy to be called a human being. And the beauty of things, modern management, in the 6th principle of the Arisabad, given by Maharishi Dayanand in 1875, the vision and mission statement. And vision and mission statement, the concept in modern management came only in the late 80s and the early 90s. That is, some 30 years back. Universal legacies left through the study of the Vedas. The Vedas is recognized as the first revelation, that is, the words given by the omniscient, all-knowledgeable God to the 4 rishis at the creation of mankind and this universe. That dates back to 1,960,853,119 years today. The Vedas, they are the seminal form of knowledge, Bij-Roop. And if you want to delve in it, you have to go through the learning techniques. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, Sakshatkar. Use all your 5 senses to get knowledge, and whatever knowledge you gain from that, that is Shravan. It's not only the hearing part. Because you gain knowledge by seeing, by touching, by taking the smell and everything. Manan is contemplation. You have to repeat to yourself to get it engraved in your memory. Just like you're working on the computer, and if you've not saved your file, the next time when you come and open the same file, you don't get it. That's the importance of Manan. Then in Nididhyasan, you put the questions to yourself, the pros and cons. How many have participated in debates here? Most of the youngsters have done so. It's always putting the questions for and against. And when you put the question of for and against to yourself, you get to get the right conclusion. And when you go towards the right conclusion, that is Sakshatkar. You see, the learning methodology which our rishis taught us, if you apply it in our day-to-day life today, and especially for the modern students, you're bound to get 100% success, and 100% success will bring you 100% happiness. The Rig Vedas have been inscribed as the oldest book of humanity. The manuscripts, in fact, were inscribed in 2007 as the memory of the world. And in 2008, UNESCO proclaimed the chanting of the Vedas as intangible heritage of humanity. The first inscription was 2003 and confirmed in 2008. So it's not something that we are just saying from the books. Even international organizations have started recognizing the value of the Vedas. Universal legacy, you see several organizations have adopted several concepts, amongst which we'll see a few of them. Compulsory education for all. Probably in US and Europe, compulsory education is here for over 50, 60, 70 years. In Mauritius, it was only some 20 years back. But out of that also, when it was proclaimed, even the politicians said that this is a concept which is found in the Satyat Prakash of Maharishi Dayananda Saraswati. It's no new thing which have been given to the world. It's just sourced from the Vedas. Respect for parents, for teachers, for elderly people, for benefactors. If you want to live happily, obviously, when somebody gives you a pen, somebody gives you a piece of paper, you say thank you. But do we say thank you to the Lord who has given us every morning a new day to see, to live? If we have no gratitude and expect to get happiness in return, do you think that is possible? We have to balance the equation. And that's where, when we look at the rights, women's rights, children's rights, human rights, one by one, if you look into the clauses, you'll find that it's derived from the Vedas. We should say thank you to the rishis who have given us this knowledge. Thank you to God who's transmitted this knowledge through the rishis to us. And then, in return, God will say, okay, you are doing your karma well, and He will treat you well. Good governance, ethics. We are talking about dharma in the Vedas. The first mantra of the Yajurveda says, Shreshtatam karmana. Whatever you do should be noble. That is ethics. Equal opportunities, we're hearing that nowadays. But when we are talking of good karma स्वभाव के आधार पर किसी को आदर सम्मान देना, we are talking on meritocracy based on competencies.
Very nice.
Not meritocracy because, say, Vishut is a good friend of mine. Dr. Dean Chandora or Dr. Arora have been caring for me since I've been here. Then I say no. No, but a real Arya, noble person, looks, okay, for those who've treated me well, I have big respect and gratitude for them. But first and foremost, for those who are knowledgeable, Dhyan Vrit, they are to be given the first highest rank. Then iske baad Vayovrit, those who are elderly in age. Look at the concept of meritocracy in the Vedas. And we are talking about equal opportunities probably some 10 or 15 years back in the modern world. Globalization, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam again. Then self-rule is better than foreign rule. We are going again on those concepts. Universal legacy, the first concept is that our society should not be left free with unlimited desire. Unfortunately, a society free from unlimited desire, we are consuming more than what the world has in reserve. I was talking in one conference and said, we are living as if you have one planet by the side in reserve. The amount of resources we are consuming. And just remember, I was talking to Pramila Bahan yesterday night. We're talking the most simple living one person adopts. He has less and less problems, and he has the highest level of happiness. I'll give you my own example. When I returned to Mauritius in 2015 from the Gurukul, I kept the same dress which I was wearing in the Gurukul. People from friends and relatives started questioning me. Why so? It's no longer the Gurukul. I have no problem in the morning. What dress, what is the color matching I have to need for the dresses? That is the first thing which I've ruled out in my life. Simple thing, I need probably 4 or 5 sets of clothes like this for 1 year, not more than that. Just imagine the resources I've saved myself. The trouble I've saved myself by going for shopping. The time we waste. So if we want to live the increased, heightened level of happiness, I think we should adopt simple living and high thinking. No way out of it. And the ethics are governed by the 10 tenets of Manu or Yam Niyam, which probably we'll take in another session. Look, the Vedas, when we are telling people that what is the prime object of you people being member of the Arya Samaj? Doing good to the whole world, starting by the physical, moral, and social standards, just uplifting them. And that's not only for me, but for all. That is the gross happiness index. Unfortunately, the world today is living on the basis of gross domestic product, which is only purely economics. Whether the other country with which I'm trading goes down the drains, that's not my problem. It's only my GDP, which should go increasing. Do you think these modern concepts will lead to higher levels of happiness? No. The world is celebrating the World Happiness Day on the 20th, 2 days after. I think it was only a coincidence when Vishwanath told me what would be the subject. I just gave him that. I didn't think about it was World Happiness Day to be celebrated in 2 days' time. But look at the concepts from the Vedas. It tells you that the universe has sufficient resources to satisfy the needs of all, but not the greed of a few. And what is this lifestyle of people today? Totally opposite. 180 degrees. The starting point, the success rate of increased happiness, is the sum total of our individual efforts to live up to universal ideals. We can't go on living for me, mine, and myself. We have, and there's no way out of it, na anya pante yanaya. No way out of it. Vasudev kutumbakam kranvanto vishnumaryam sangachadam samvadadam. The transformation of each and every single individual, which I said, the smallest unit of society, is needed. And we have to emerge as role models. And role models do only one thing. They walk what they talk. Manasyekam vachasyekam karmanyekam. This is the role model. He thinks of one thing, speaks of that same one thing, and whatever he does is that way, one and the same thing. These are role models. If you find somebody doing something else, then you can say, okay, you have to probably leave his company. And look at the beauty. Gayatri Mantra, Savitri Mantra, or Maha Mantra. The prayer part of it, Dhyo Yona Prachodaya. We pray to God to enlighten our intellect towards righteous thoughts and righteous actions. Why? We are growing from Samanya Buddhi, the ordinary mind, to Medha Buddhi, which allows us to tame our emotions, to tame our thoughts, and catch the inner inspiration within us. Because with Medha Buddhi, we are going always to abide by truth and drop whatever is not true. We are going to always abide by the guidelines of virtuous living, dharma, and what is adharmic, immorality, vice, we are going to put it in the bin. And when we know those two things, kartavya, our duties and responsibilities, will affirm and assert ourselves in that. We are going to shun negligence, irresponsibility, disloyalty, all the things to the bin. And when we've done that, God will empower us to catch the inner inspiration which He's giving at all times. Remember, when we are going to do something good, just calm yourself for 1 second and just see the inner feeling. Good thoughts, good actions, good speech. Andar se anand, utsaah, ullas, umang. Inner peace, joy, contentment, increased level of happiness. And when something is wrong, you sense the break within yourself. And when you sense the break within yourself, you have to review your strategies, probably review even the goals. Review the strategies, review the tactics to arrive at that. And this is what you can do only when you are focused, yoga chitta, vritti nirodha. That is the gut feel. Then the recipe for success and life, which is also given by the rishis derived from the Vedas. Sato det kale nirantar satkara sevito bhumi. Whatever you are going to do in life, if you want to get 100% success, you have to be 100% dedicated to what you are doing. But first and foremost, it takes a long time to practice that. And you have to be consistent in your practice. And much devotion, passion, definitely you are going to reach your goals. Remember the person, Usain Bolt? How much practice did he do before he won the 100 or 200 meters sprint race? And that was run in 10 seconds. He did practice for 4 years to get it at the Olympics. One small story is there. The mango and the monkeys. The monkeys used to steal the mangoes from an orchard. Then the proprietor got a few people there. Each time, dande se marte the bandaron ko. They had the sticks to beat up the monkeys. The monkeys said, okay, we'll plant our own mango tree. Then they got the seed, put it in the earth. Then after 1 hour, they didn't find it grow. Khod karke dekh liye. They just unearthed it. And then the next day it was the same thing. Do you think they'll get the mango tree like this? If you're not patient, if you're not consistent, and if you don't bear with time, so it will be only the monkey mind working. If you want to succeed in life, to attain higher levels of happiness, you have to drop the monkey mind. Right or wrong? And then remember, if we want higher levels of happiness, we have to regenerate our spiritual, physical, spiritual health, gear to wider horizons, not think only for me, mine, and myself. We have to delve deeper, uproot social evils. And the first and foremost social evil, you know what is it? We fail to transmit the values to our kids in our homes. In the name of running to earn, we don't find time to give to our kids. And this is the root of all social evils. If we manage to keep our phone and television silent for 5 or 10 minutes daily at dinner time, and spend some good moments sharing the good times in our daily life to the kids, encouraging them to be virtuous, to abide by dharma in their lives, we'll have a better generation ahead. We'll be able to generate a better environment. But all the good intentions that we may be having, without any action, we are nowhere. Remember, how many cars are there outside? Till the driver doesn't sit on the driver's seat and start, the car doesn't move, and the car moves only where the rubber meets the road. If the rubber doesn't meet the road, you're sitting in the car on the lift, accelerate how much you want, you're still on the lift at one particular place, going nowhere. So it's up to us to choose what we want in life. I will finish with one small story to tell you what the Arismar tries to do. I got that story from WhatsApp, from friends, which I want to share with you. There was one young gentleman. Since he was growing, his father always hinted at him, put your room tidy, put your clothes in good places, put your books in order, everything. Each time when his father ticked to him, he said, oh dear, that old man's still hanging behind me. The day I'll get a job, I'll just leave everything. That will be my last day in the house. He went for an interview, and starting from the very main gate, he found the gate not so well opened. He said, that's wrong. Pushed the gate well, opened it, and had it well in place. Somewhat further away, he found there was a hose with water running on the tower. He said, that's wastage. He just lifted the hose and put it in the roots of one tree. He went to the door, entered the main building. The mat was half folded. He said, that's bad. He just put it in place. Again, he went inside the room and found 2 free persons sitting, but there were 20 fans running. He said, all people are sitting on one bench, so I better switch off the fans at the back. He went into the room, now for the interview. What he was watching, also everybody who was entering, as soon as they entered, they were leaving through the other door. So you couldn't meet the person to ask what were the questions that were put to you, and why is it that you went so fast out? There was no connection, no contact. And And he went there, they asked him, please sit down. He was surprised. Everybody was just leaving before even asked to sit down. He was surprised, he was shocked. Then they said, okay, congratulations, we're offering the job. He said, what's that? I don't understand. Everybody was just leaving as soon as they entered. May I ask you one question, please? On what basis have you chosen to give me the job? He said, oh, you know, whatever you've did since you entered the main gate till now, look at the screen there. CCTV camera, we've been monitoring that. Each and everybody who came before you saw everything, but they had no sense of responsibility, no sense of duty, no sense of care. And you were the only person who showed that from beginning to end. He came back home. The first thing he did was to fall at the feet of his father and seek his blessings. Why? Because he realized each and every step he's been correcting before entering the interview room was just because what he felt was nagging from his father was real shaping of his character, of his behavior. And this is what 18March tells you to do in life. To shape yourself so that when you reach wherever you have to go, the doors open by themselves. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Any questions, please? No questions?
No questions.
Okay, I will just...
I have one.
Yeah, just 1 minute, please. I will just ask Vishruti to bear in mind. I would like to do, when we go for Shanti Path, we'll just do Shanti Path sitting in our own seats, because when we do Shanti Path, it's just praying for peace. But what we have the tendency to do is just to stand up. And when we stand up, our mind is already out of the prayers, out of the Shanti which you are praying for that. Please just bear that in mind. Yes, madam?
It is true that we should be an idealistic in ourselves and be an example. But the way the world is moving and to keep up with the pace, isn't it difficult to kind of not go along? Because if we live in a better community, the kids get better environment, better car, better school. So we kind of get caught into that flow where you cannot pull yourself and be very minimal lifestyle.
We can we keep continuing our discussions after?
Okay, that's fine. So we'll probably meet after.
Yeah, we should complete our Sunday services within
Yeah.
time. So we are already about 15 minutes late. So just try to finish. Thank you, Acharya ji, for a